Brothers and sisters, sometimes you don't need a sermon. Sometimes all you need is to look up. Look at that sky above these Tennessee hills, quiet as a prayer before dawn, wide as the mercy of the one who made it. And ask yourself, did all of this really come from nothing? Because nothing, real nothing, doesn't explode. It don't create laws of physics. It don't write mathematics into the bones of reality. It don't whisper galaxies into motion or set constants so precise that changing one of them by 1 part in a trillion would erase the very possibility of life. Brother, nothing can't give birth to everything. Only will can. Only power can. Only intelligence can. Only God can. Scientists call it a beginning, a flash, a moment where time, space, matter, all of it, burst out of a point smaller than a grain of cornmeal. But every beginning begs for a beginner. And the deeper they dig, the more the numbers whisper a truth bigger than themselves. Roger Penrose, not a preacher, not an imam, calculated the odds of the universe forming by blind chance as follows. 1 to the 10th power raised to the 123rd power. That ain't a number, brother. That's a number so big and impossible it might as well be zero wearing a disguise. And it ain't just one number, it's every number. Gravity, electromagnetism, the strong force, the weak force, the mass of the electron, the speed of light, the charge of a proton, all sitting on a knife's edge so thin you couldn't balance a single grain of Tennessee dust on it. Shift gravity by a hair and stars never ignite. You shift the strong nuclear force by a whisper and atoms fall apart. Change the expansion rate by a fraction of a fraction, the universe collapses or explodes into nothingness. Brother, this is not random. This is precision engineering. Physicists call it fine-tuning, and I call it the handwriting of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the force of gravity, the pull of an atom, the expansion of the universe, all set to razor-thin values where the tiniest change would have left this world cold, dark, and dead. But instead, we get sunrises over county hayfields and moonlight bouncing off these Appalachian creeks. You think that's luck? Look at the earth spinning at just the right tilt. Look at the right speed dancing between cold space and burning flame while the moon, the exact size and the exact distance, balances our tides and paints perfect solar eclipses like it's performing an art show. And don't forget this miracle. The sun is 400 times bigger than the moon and also 400 times further away. The only reason eclipses fit perfectly, look like a lock sliding in a key, is because of that double coincidence. No other planet in the solar system gets a show like that. Only Earth, only us. And scientists will tell you, those perfect eclipses are what allowed us to measure the sun's corona, gravity-bending light, and the very fabric of space-time. It's almost like this universe wanted to be understood. Jupiter stands out there like a big brother catching rocks and comets so we don't get hit. The atmosphere builds a roof of protection to burn up the meteors and shield your skin from the sun's anger. Brother and sister, this ain't chaos, it's craftsmanship. And inside of you and every cell of your body lies a code more advanced than any computer ever built. 3 billion characters of precise instruction folded into DNA tighter than any hay bale twine. The code only works because proteins with impossible specific shapes fold in ways so rare that the odds are beyond astronomical. And inside that code, it ain't just complexity, it's information. Not chaos, not static, not noise. Information, structured, ordered, encoded with rules, letters, syntax, and purpose. The same way that language works, the same way software works. But no message writes itself. No book authors itself. No sentence forms without a mind guiding it. So how does a 3 billion letter instruction manual packaged inside every cell come from blind chemistry? It don't. It can't. Information always points back to intelligence. If a tornado ripped through a junkyard and left a fully assembled 747 in its path, you'd call that miracle, not accident. So how do you look at a universe more complex than a billion 747s and say nobody built it? But here's where it gets real quiet, real personal, because long before microscopes, long before telescopes, long before men named the laws of physics, there was a book recited in the deserts of Arabia through the mouth of a man who couldn't even read. A book that said the heavens and earth were once joined before splitting apart. The universe is expanding. The sun and the moon run in precise orbits. Mountains are like pegs stabilizing the earth. The sky is a protected ceiling. Seas meet with barriers between them. Life is made from water. Human sex, male or female, is determined by the sperm. The embryo becomes a clinging form and then a chewed-like lump in 3 layers of darkness. Pain is felt through the skin, and when the skin is replaced, the pain returns. This wasn't written by astronomers. It wasn't penned by biologists. This came from a man reciting in a cave before microscopes were even dreams. And he didn't revise it. He didn't update it. He didn't correct a single verse. The Qur'an stands today exactly as it did on his tongue. Letter for letter, sound for sound. And every age that comes keeps catching up to it. When mankind discovered the universe had a beginning, the Qur'an had already spoken. When telescopes showed the heavens expanding, the Qur'an had already spoken. When biologists mapped the embryo, the Qur'an had already spoken. And that desert prophet who never held a pen recited truths the world would only uncover centuries later. And then you open that book a little bit further and the patterns get even deeper. The word day, singular, yom. It appears 365 times like the days in a year. Month appears 12 times. Days, plural, 30 times like the days in a month. Life and death, 145 times each. Worldly life and the hereafter, 115 each. Man and woman, equal counts. Sea appears 32 times and land 13. That's 71% water and 29% land, the ratio of Earth's surface. Some folks argue over counting methods, but the patterns are there, woven through 6,000 plus verses, like threads in a divine quilt. And iron, which modern science says was formed in exploding stars and sent down to Earth, Allah tells us in the Qur'an, we sent down iron. Brother and sister, what book speaks like that? What book stands shoulder to shoulder with the discoveries of ages that came long after it? This ain't coincidence, and it ain't chance, and it ain't the poetry of a man. This is the signature of the one who hung the stars and shaped the mountains and breathed life into clay. And here's the real beauty. You don't have to yell to see the truth, and you don't have to call anybody out. Just sit with it beneath the big sky where the universe hums its quiet testimony. Nothing this ordered and nothing this elegant and nothing this impossible happens without a creator. And if there is a creator, one mind behind every law of physics, every blade of grass, every heartbeat, then the final question becomes very, very simple. Did he speak? And if he did, which revelation matches the universe he wrote? The Qur'an don't just match it, it rhymes with creation. It sings the same melody the cosmos has been whispering since the first dawn of the first horizon. So when you stand in the cold mountain air and you hear the wind move through the trees, remember, because revelation and creation are 2 mirrors reflecting the same face. One is wrote in ink and the other written in stars. One descends from the heavens as words and the other unfolds as galaxies. And with both mirrors line up, when the book in your hand matches the universe above your head, a man has only 2 choices. Either the greatest coincidence in existence has been playing you for a fool, or the author of the cosmos and the author of the Qur'an are one and the same. The universe speaks, the Qur'an speaks, and if you listen with a clear heart, you'll realize they're telling the same story. And that's all I have to say about it.